Hmm. Okay.
Greetings, everyone. Nate the Nerdarchy here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with a nerd.
I am Kienata, and tonight we are going to prove Nate is evil.
I'm just misunderstood.
Tonight we're going to work on, and I guess technically this isn't really a monster mash, is it?
It will be. It will be. It's
okay.
I'm showing an example of what I have mashed before.
That's humans and horrifying experiments. That's a mash.
This is like the refried beans version of Monster Mash.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You know, when you get a second cooking out of it, and it's ready to go again in a new form. So main thing was, we talked about how evil mushroom zombies were. And I said, well, I don't know about that. I think it's just totally fine. So we got into a bit of discussion about it. And I said, well, let's just continue this conversation into Monster Mash, because I've done these monsters already. And one of the projects I did for Patreon reward, like last year, about 7-8 months ago, I did these deadly plants and fungus monsters. And then I also did fungus and plant spells to go along with it. So these are all creatures that, with the fungus and plant spells I made for my Lost Lore stuff, these are the monster menagerie creatures I included in that. So we're just going to kind of like go through them to give you an idea of how I changed a very equivalent CR as well as kind of feel to the monsters. I just changed them from undead to more of a plant flavored thing. So
plant flavored, like a vegetable.
Yeah, like an old vegetable you find in your fridge, and you just cook the heck out of it and hope you don't get sick.
Okay, all right. So what are we? Fungal Shambler, the Vine Haunt. It looks like you have a direct now. While you're going through all these, I don't know if anyone can hear the squeaky toy, but that is my dog Peanut going nutso right underneath me. Anyway.
It's about 9 o'clock. It's time to play.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'll go play under your office chair. So for what we're going through here, do any of these include the process of creation? Like as an example, if I'm a cleric pretending to be a good guy and I'm actually experimenting on people and doing No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, okay. Get some jabs in before you get into the question. So you didn't actually ask a question there, by the way.
No, I'm just taking swings. So that's where I'm at.
Let's go. I'll start with the spells first.
Okay, yes,
and
please.
Basically, so I took some plant spells, stuck them on top of Animate Dead spells, and then I created Animate Fungus and Plants. And basically, rather than any type of funky thing like herbs and whatever 11 herbs and secret spices you do for animating corpses, this instead you actually like specially grow mushrooms on mulch and like dead bodies and stuff. So that's the spell component, is like basically a mushroom grown from some kind of corpse. It could have been a squirrel's corpse. It could have been a squirrel's corpse, by the way. It doesn't have to be a person.
I thought you were literally going to say one of the spell components is 11 herbs and secret spices. And a dash of Lowry seasoning salt, and there you go. Okay, go ahead.
So basically we've got this spell very similar to to Animate Dead. You choose a pile of bones or a corpse of medium or small beast, and it imbues animation or life into the fungus that kind of like grows on it. So you basically, like this mushroom, you plop it on it, and then bam, it grows all over the thing, and then moves it around. So kind of like, Witch of the Woods horror show, but at the same time.
So mechanic-wise, is this essentially like ritual magic? Like I'm casting essentially a ritual magic spell?
It's very similar. I think, how long does it take to cast? Tasking time's 1 minute, so it's kind of short. But it does have that. Well, that's how long Animate Dead is. If you look at it, it should be 1 minute. It's not. It's not long. I mean, like you can't do it in combat and be like bam, bam, bam.
Mentally, I just always imagined Animate Dead would take longer than that. For whatever reason, it just seemed like the kind of thing you'd put some energy into. I guess not.
Oh, you do. You just shove it in there instead of like slowly, ebbing it in. You just like cram the spell components in their mouth and then animate them. It takes a whole minute. A whole minute in combat is forever. You're gonna be dead.
Yeah, or you're gonna have that before you get a zombie.
Or you're gonna have that spell interrupted long before you get a zombie. So a minute in combat is forever. So it doesn't. It basically, if it's more than one round, it doesn't matter how long it is. It's gonna be too long.
What level are these spells? When can you cast them?
Okay, so I've got this one set at 3rd level. Very similar to the Animate Dead spell. This is just more towards plants, and you're animating beasts and creatures that you find dead in the woods rather than human bodies. Okay,
all right. So the new character, or I guess those are the playtesting character classes, the Spore Druid or Fungal Druid, the superpowered Druid.
Yeah, I think it's still on Earth Arcana at this moment.
Okay, all right. So the Spore Druid is able to, just as a matter of like context, so you can kind of compare Nate's version to what that is. You basically get to summon a zombie. It lasts like an hour, and it has 1 hit point, and I think you can do that at 6th level. And that's it. There you go. 1 hit point zombie. It can only make a melee attack. End of the story.
It has 1 hit point?
It has 1 hit point. There's kind of a caveat, a little bit of a catch with a zombie with 1 hit point.
Oh, it does have the zombie effect.
Right.
Okay, all right.
But that's the funny thing, is it doesn't expressly say that. It just says it's a zombie. So you're kind of just left assuming.
Well, from the Monster's Manual.
Right. You would assume it would be a zombie with 1. So
I mean, they also didn't label the hit points and everything like that. You just have to. Well, I mean, they did give you hit points, but they don't give you strength, dex, all that kind of stuff. So.
Right.
You'd have to find that out by looking in the Monster's Manual.
So the zombie, basically, if you hit a zombie, it basically makes a DC check based on how much damage it took. Mm-hmm. And if it passes it, instead of being destroyed, it just goes to 1 hit point instead.
Which
that's why you always hit them in the head. Okay, but go ahead, please.
Okay, so I actually didn't even... Was this even out? I don't think it was. It really had no basis on whether or not I was making plant zombies. My own player character at the time wanted to make some kind of fungus plant guardian, but I didn't just want to be like, let me just summon things out of nowhere. So I said, let me summon it off of other things. Excuse me. So I basically went with the premise like that. And
yeah, as far as timeline is concerned, I'm pretty sure your Druid creation thing is like a year older than, because the Spore Druid is fairly new, I guess, last 3 or 4 months or 2 months. I don't even know. But anyway.
But even though Nerdarchy is really super into 5e, we don't read everything from 5e. So it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, someone said something about it being Spore Druid stuff, Circle of Spores on Sunday for our world build. And I was like, I forget that even exists. So no offense, whoever wrote the Circle of Spores Druid. It doesn't come into my mind really as when I think of a Druid. But I think it's cool that they're kind of going in the direction of possibilities there. So with this, it mimics the animate spells and the creation spells for Undead. It just does it in like a plant fungal nature with a few differences. And one of the things I said was, you're using, instead of onyx and some other types of herbs and other things and incense, you're using, these special mushrooms that you've prepared for this purpose. And the Create Undead, if you look on the right, actually does talk about it being soaked in 150 gold pieces worth of herbs.
So it literally is like a fried chicken spell for dead people.
Yeah, it's mushroom, fried chicken spell.
It's all evil.
Yeah.
Sage Mackenzie said, this makes me think of the mushrooms that take over ants and other insects. Oh. So there's that really cool fungus in the jungle, and it somehow gets deposited inside an ant, and then the ant tries to get to the highest area it can before. Has me in a weird pose. It looks like I'm gonna karate chop you. Kind of unusual. Oh, I think we're live again.
Yes. At least, what is it like?
Okay.
I think we made it through one stream so far without
Yeah.
OBS saying it doesn't want to talk to us.
Yeah, so far we've only had one stream where we didn't have something explode. Hi, sorry about that, everybody. Welcome back. We were just talking about, and with a dog. She's incorrigible. She refuses to do anything but play right now. So I'm going to talk about crazy, evil mushroom stuff while my dog bites my hands. Please, continue.
Yes, so crazy evil mushroom stuff. So we've got the 6th level spell, which is similar to the Create Undead, and that allows you to create the higher level power ones, like the Vines of Wrath, and I think the Fungal Sovereign. And there's other spells, like the thematic for things, like there's Leeching Mushroom, a Detect Corpse, which I thought was incredibly useful if you're going to go out into the woods and try and find somebody, something, because it's a beast or a small or medium beast. And you're like, well, if it's old enough, it's going to be very difficult to find it. So that was there for the spells, a couple more. So also, if you guys aren't in Patreon at the Lost Lore level, then this is one of the things that you could get. Like, this is an example of something. This is like 7 or so spells. Yeah. And that's kind of, what I try to shoot for is like 2 pages worth of spells whenever I do something for that.
What school of magic were those?
Some of them, the animates were necromancy.
Really?
Well, what else could it really be? That's what my issue was. The necromancy's got the life and death aspect to it, and you're basically making a plant grow like crazy, a mushroom grow like crazy.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
I
what else could it have
life
been?
and death argument. I would like to see, like, for me, it's almost an opportunity to write a chunk of lore that makes me buy into it. You know what I mean? Like a piece of lore that makes me go, yes, this person really does believe that this is part of the cycle of life and death. Also, if maybe you added to the fluff that it doesn't bring a soul back.
It doesn't.
Well, but I'm saying there's a preconception for some of us, especially me, that a soul is being shackled to the body, and that is inherently evil. But if there's no soul being shackled to the body, then it's just really messed up and not necessarily.
You know what? It would probably be better labeled as transmutation. That's probably because plant growth's transmutation, and I think that would just make it. That would make it
exactly
make more sense.
And Slats says this quite well. He said the body is just scaffolding for the mushroom. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Slats. I'm saying necromancy is evil, but if we find a way to sell this so that it's not necromancy, because like traditional necromancy where you're binding a soul to keep a body animate and the soul is essentially suffering in there, I mean, that's really evil stuff.
And 5e is necromancy and 5e is foul magics, but it doesn't say anything about a soul trapping. Just saying. Just saying it's not canon. No matter how much you and Dave would like it to be canon, it's not canon.
It counts.
All I have to do is convince Ted, and it won't be canon in Chimes of Discordia either.
Oh my gosh. Emiliano Garcia just brought up something really cool. A mechanic. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. You can't turn plants like you can undead.
Yeah.
I am voting that is added in as a mechanic for the creatures. No turning plant creatures. They're not zombies.
Well, a nature cleric could. Because a nature cleric can turn blights and other things like that. They don't even have to be evil. They just have to be... It's like charming plants and animals. They can kind of like turn. They can't... You're not going to be like, squirrel, 20th level nature cleric, explode. That's not going to happen.
It does.
I'm picking on squirrels today.
Did you just explode a squirrel?
I'm picking on squirrels pretty hardcore today.
What are you doing?
They're so cute. Ever since I threw away a thing in the trash at a dumpster, and a squirrel, while I was throwing the trash bag in, a squirrel was leaping out at me. I've had a love-hate relationship with them.
That sounds horrifying.
It was pretty scary, but It happened
Squeal
so
and
fast.
run away.
It happened so fast. I was looking at him go away, and I'm like, oh man, I'm glad that wasn't like a rabbit raccoon or something. I'd be dead. Or
we have
Wolverine.
We have more. What?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
how
know how
did
long.
Wolverine get into the squirrel story?
How far can a Wolverine jump? Those are the questions that we need to answer in this stream.
Oh. Yeah. James Leslie says it was a nice sacred grove we had once.
It's beautiful. It's
Okay.
a tremendous sacred grove. It's awesome.
For anyone who missed the world building stream, essentially we did a world building stream that was supposed to be all fluffy, happy rainbows. And as you can see by what we're working on tonight, that's clearly not the case.
And you complained about that pretty hardcore, and a lot of people in the chat did. And then I brought up my interesting plant creature idea, and they're like, oh man, this is terrible. There's evil in the grove, and it's Nate's character.
Well, we're not going to forget something else that happened is they just took a sentient soul and bound it to a tree as punishment where it had to just languish.
I was saving him from eternal torment.
Dude, dark.
And it transformed him. So he's not even suffering while he's there.
Moral questions that raises about
He just got a pass.
He got a pass. You're welcome.
Yeah, he should thank me. Except he doesn't remember doing anything bad. Look, he's got all the reward of not eternal fire and whatever, or demons poking him with sticks endlessly. Plus, he doesn't remember even doing it. Can't even feel guilty about it. That's pretty good. That's an upgrade as far as I'm concerned. If I had trapped him in that tree and then he was stuck lamenting about his bad things he's done for the rest of, I don't know, 1,000 years until someone cuts it down. Or it just dies.
We've got some interesting interpretations here, and there's a few different people's comments, so I'm going to kind of mash everybody's stuff together into the same concept. So basically the idea here excuse me, is how are we treating these zombies now that they're essentially being considered a plant? So, for instance, how are they reacting to fire? What are their immunities? Are they considered an animate object, or are they considered some form of like other entity? Like, so how do we want to attack this?
Okay, so I have them set as they are living creatures.
Okay.
They're just using the structure rather than being like a giant mushroom bobbing around doing not much of anything. They're using the structure of the creature. Either the plant itself or the fungus itself is using that structure to kind of build upon and move around with it. It's like it's like crabs moving around their exoskeleton. You know, the exoskeleton could be made out of any substance, and it would still function as the exoskeleton. But in this case, you've got what you're working with. You got bones. You have muscle, all that kind of stuff.
It sounds really gross.
So, Rayclaw and Critical Masterpiece. Yeah, Paladin Propaganda. Yep, I think so too.
What is
Necromancy's evil because it traps souls into corpses, and they're tormented all the entire time. That's why zombies moan. I heard it from a cleric once. They're upset and endlessly suffering.
So are we going with the like fire vulnerabilities? If I have the ability to cast a spell that affects plants, does that work on them because they're a plant? Or are we saying technically they're a fungus? Are we going to throw science in here and go
fungus and plants are close enough in D&D magic that they're going to be treated as the same thing.
Okay, all right.
There is no effects only fungus spells as far as I understand. Maybe there's a Pathfinder, but
it'd be interesting if they made a whole separate set just to get those people to stop saying fungus isn't a plant.
A whole other set of spells. There's plant growth, but now we have fungus growth.
So we have other stuff coming up here, like Slats right now is talking about, I feel like everything but the bones would break down into food for the plant. And kind of what that's saying to me is, what's the time span of these?
Well, then you'd have mycelium muscle there. Be like, boom.
Boom?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
check out these squishy guns.
When you have like when you have a zombie or a skeleton, the magic as long as the magic is there and powerful, it maintains that body.
Yeah.
In this case, we actually have a living creature taking over essentially a food source. There is magic there as well. So what's maintaining it? Is there a day 1 form where we have a zombie with a bunch of mushrooms off it, and a day 300 form where it's just like hardcore plant man with 6-pack, mushroom pecs or something? Like, what do we end up with?
I like I like the idea that it transforms over time, and I think description wise that would be good to include. There are I didn't want to just make here's different variations of the same type of plant monster, so I have a few different ones. So I think some questions will be answered if we just go through them.
Okay, do it.
Does that make sense?
Do it. You're reading chat.
Yes, I should stop reading chat.
You should stop reading chat.
So
I'm trying to read chat for you.
So there's the Vine Haunt, which is kind of the fill-in for the skeleton. And basically, rather than vulnerability to bludgeon, I gave it vulnerability to fire. And it has condition immunities like exhaustion and poison. It's got a bit of dark vision, which I probably should have made tremor sense, but looking back on it, almost a year later, I'm thinking, well, right. I could do this differently. But basically, I decided to give them a ranged attack, like they could launch almost like a vine sling part of their anatomy at things. And
what part?
The bones that they don't really need anymore, like a finger bone.
A finger bone, a tooth?
Yeah, teeth. It's like sling bolt action.
Okay,
but just generic bone sharded. So, they've got their viney muscles, but they've got a flayed appearance. So they appear as if a creature formed from vines, but with the difference that there's no fur or scale or skin on it. It's just like green-brown corded muscles on it, with like bones peeking out different places. And just the normal things you'd find in a servitor that's not really sentient. That they'll listen to your instructions. They're not really that good. They're not really good at like adapting to changing circumstances. So I gave them kind of like that mindless, lesser undead, lesser plant feel to them. And and then we move on to fungal shamblers. Fungal shamblers they shamble around, and they're fungus, and that's more of kind of like the zombie slot for Animate Dead. One of the things I did with this is I wanted it to be, I didn't want to like go out and try and do something crazy. I wanted to do something that most DMs would say, yeah, this seems legit. I'll go with it. If you want to be a druid that turns, dead corpses into plant servants, sure. So, let's see. Okay, so this one's Fungal Devourer. And this is one of the ones that I kind of put in that it eats things. And most of these have immunity to poison, just because I didn't feel like a plant would be really affected with poison, unless it was specifically to damage a plant. Do you know what I mean? So
that sounds like one of those weird instances where the players come up with something, and they say, I know because of real world knowledge that this kills plants, as it's the active ingredient in weed eater. Can I use it? And the GM's like, oh, for the love of God, I don't know why you'd know that, but sure.
Well, I could see it also. You'd have a player or a player's character is going through something. They're like, oh, I've discovered this thing that kills plants, and here's a whole bunch of terrible plant monsters. Let's make a whole bunch of this stuff, or harvest it, or whatever. Maybe it's a mineral that makes the plant bodies break down or become diseased or something. So that could be, I could see that being something that they look at and go, oh, we should probably apply this. And that's something you can put in your game if you also put in these type of plant monsters. Similarly, like you find out Radiant hurts undead, or particular things about the life cycles and how ghasts go about their day. So you can kind of like set traps for them based on that knowledge, or like in this instance, they're immune to poison, but that's because most poisons in the game are designed for living creatures that are like mammals and lizards and stuff. It's not weed killer.
That's why you carry a bottle of acid instead. Player's Handbook, folks. Throw it at somebody. It's good stuff.
There you go. So, devours of all things. The fungal devourer, like mushrooms and plants in an old forest, devours thrive in places heavy with life and natural decay and death. They haunt a place where it can gorge on decay and the dead. While it prefers an ancient forest thick with leaf mulch, it will settle in the occasional catacomb filled with the dead. When it can't feed on the dead, such as when it becomes trapped in caverns, dungeons, or catacombs emptied of the dead, it will attack the living to stave off starvation. So this is one that actually you can summon and animate one, but there are also, this is a creature that you could see in the wild as just something in a dungeon, something in it's kind of like a mini version of the Shambling Mounds, because Shambling Mounds are no joke. So this is like a very tiny version of the Shambling Mound.
We have a bunch of interesting ideas. So did you want to, once we've gone through all of the creatures that we have here, did you want to continue this process and make another, or do you want to address other things in the Grove?
Well, if people want to jump into other things in the Grove, that would be good. I just want to do this as a starting off point because it felt like the conversation wasn't done from Sundays.
No, it wasn't. In Discord, we've been endlessly taunting you about the fact that your cleric is literally pure evil.
So So I wanted to draw out some of the, basically settle some of the information on it to show you the direction I was going in. Even though I might have explained it a particular way Sunday, this is kind of more in the line of what I was talking about.
All I heard was you summon these creatures that want to eat rotten stuff, and if they run out of rotten stuff, they start eating people, which doesn't sound very nice to me.
Start eating other plants and living things.
Living things like squirrels.
Like squirrels. If they can catch them, they can eat them. And then there's one that I kind of have a fill in for the mummy. It has a similar rotting attack, like fungal rot, and it also has these spores that make you frightened or scared. So
the non-evil stuff that infuses you with pure fear with its spores. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should be scared of it. It's a living adaptation to scare things away from harming you.
It literally oozes actual nightmare fuel. This is not
powdered airborne aerosol version of nightmare fuel.
Weaponized aerosol form nightmare fuel. Okay.
So
okay.
Unless anybody has different ideas on the way they'd like to take some of those plant monsters, we can go with the way all the other types of creatures we talked about in this this thing, because we did talk about a significant amount.
We had tons and tons of notation on different kinds of creatures, and I had some support for some of my ideas. I might need those voices again tonight. Okay, so we don't have a stat card. Boop. For the horribly tortured soul that you bound to a tree like a heartless monster. That we never. So does he get stats, or is he just an ephemeral being that is never interacted with other than through strange conversation? There we go, James Leslie. Knowles.
Okay, so we've got the Tree Guardian of the Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get back to them. I think. Do we want to get to the Knolls first?
Oh.
Okay, you did say it was important. I think we should start with him. So the Tree Guardian of the Grove, I want him to have a very similar ability to Treant, in the sense of not necessarily that the Spirit Grove tree moves, but that it can animate other trees.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I wanna go grab a Treant right now.
Tome of Foes. ZanClan, we have not discussed the Tome of Foes. We are doing a monster mash. We are using a setting that Nate came up with, which is supposed to be this happy, fluffy bunny spirit grove that his cleric of nature made.
Okay.
As it turns out, he was doing human experiments on corpses to turn them into plant zombies
of
and,
evil, fiendish orcs.
And he didn't like somebody, so he locked them in a tree.
No. I felt pity for him, so I thought he should have time to think about what he's done.
The app we were using, the program we were using is Homebrewery.
And I'm also using D&D Beyond to look up all the information I want.
Exactly. Little Homebrewery, little D&D Beyond. Slats agrees with you. He said, true nature cleric, equal parts of life and death.
There you go. Otherwise, it's just the fluffy bunny parts of nature. So I've got the treant here, and I basically want to take away basically the speed. I want to make the speed 0. I don't want to feel like the spirit groves, the tree guardian, should be able to do anything.
It's Arden Helma said, I love how Kienata assaults Nate with the chat. It's not, this is dialogue. We're having an exchange. He's been trying to convince me it's not evil. I am nowhere near convinced that it is not wildly evil acts. So that's all. Just dialogue. Dialogue.
I've been lawful good the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. And Ted totally has changed somebody's alignment, just to let you know.
Ted let this fly. That's what blows my mind.
He came up with it. I said, I was like, oh, well, maybe I can stop him from going on to the afterlife so he's not going to suffer like he should. And Ted, it was out of my hands and into deity / GM intervention. And I really liked I would not have suggested that because I thought that was it is really cool. I'm glad it happened. But, man. So.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to have more spell-like abilities. It's not going to have the rock effect. We're throwing rocks. It's not going to have slam attacks. No. I feel like the Spirit Grove tree is just going to hang out there. Now, whether or not we take some kind of spirit monster and assign that to the guardian spirit, that he can act in the world. Like maybe he usually resides within a tree, but he can come out and do things within a certain radius of the place.
I would almost, this is kind of how I imagined it. You could maybe see the spirit guardian in some kind of limited fashion, maybe like this ethereal, wispy form of him moving in between trees and then animating the trees he's moved to or speaking to you from the trees, like the sound of rustling leaves. You can kind of hear his voice in the backdrop of that. But I definitely don't see him popping out and there's always going to be another tree for him to hop into. This isn't the kind of thing where you fight him and beat him. You know what I mean? And I've never been a fan of, well, we need to make sure to give him stats in case I want to fight him. If I'm the GM, I'm just like, he runs away. No, he's gone. He went in the ground. He's gone now.
What if you're like the Ghostbusters of, maybe you're like, there's a whole bunch of evil stuff going down here. People are making fungus beasts and
maybe you're
monsters.
A good aligned character, and you're going after Nate's character, who's the big bad guy.
Paladin propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. James Leslie said, I would expect Ted has an evil plan.
No. This is totally fine. This is good.
So Jinker GM, what is that app that Nate is using to make things format to D&D style? He's using Homebrewery on, what is it, Critical Hit, Critical Role? I don't know. I just have it favorited now.
Homebrewery.naturalcrit.com.
Thank you. But yeah, if you go use it, basically it gives you a little chunk of code. And when I say code, please don't think it's anything complicated. It's very, very simple formatting rules. They give you examples of everything in the splash page as soon as you open it. It's like, boom, instructions, done. And then anything you type in on the left, you see it on the right. Right now, Nate just has the right-hand side showing. So,
yeah, and you know what? If enough people want it, we can set aside a Friday sometime and like actually go through the use of these type of things, like the different type of electronic stuff. Like I want to do a tutorial in D&D Beyond because I think it's really awesome, and just like how fast it is that I just grab all the stuff for the monsters we work on, And so that could be kind of like we could do a tech day at some point for that. I think that would be cool. And yeah, the code stuff is like using hashtags and asterisks and stuff. That's all it is. And like underscores to kind of like set up different formats. Right.
Super, super, super simple stuff. Yeah. Even I can do it.
Yeah. And the reason I don't do the setup to make the stat array look like a monster block is because that takes a bit of extra time. And we're not even sure we're going to keep these stats. So until I like finish it off later, I'm not interested in taking that time, devoting it to that instead of talking with everybody in chat, talking with Kienata. So
having an open, crazy discussion, trying to defend the evil things you did. The guy, I know.
I'm attacked from all sides.
Exactly. Next stream, we're nice to Nate. That's the theme. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to say nice things for 2 hours straight. Right now, though, no gloves. Just lay into him. So back to our trapped soul that is now a guardian. Mm-hmm. And are you essentially going with the tree guardian of the grove is like the kind of how he voices himself, kind of how he's able to act in the material realm?
Yeah, it's almost as if wherever he resides in the Feywild or Shadow Vale or whatever, this is how he like interacts.
Slat said, "Don't worry, Nate. I support your extreme gardening. Extreme." He drinks Mountain Dew the whole time he's doing it. Extreme. All right. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Critical Masterpiece asks, so if it doesn't move, would the dexterity score be 0? Kind of, but not really.
Yes, for the spirit tree itself, I guess. Yes.
But it still has like arms and stuff it might need dexterity for. I mean, is there something it might need it for? Is there a skill check? It's not going to be okay. Is it trying to reconnect?
Yeah, it did it.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Everybody's going to get a peanut belly on their screen. Looks like, yep.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Sometimes my stream just hates me and sometimes it doesn't. Well, anyway.
Okay. There we go.
Let's go back to the Spirit Guardian. So the Spirit Guardian, I guess it would have a no dex score, but I almost want to treat it more like a building. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got structure to it.
Okay. Do
you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I think the first thing we should consider is ease of use. I'm the games master and I want to represent one of these trees. And my party of murder hobos is like, this dude is worth so much XP. I get out my woodcutting axe. He's going down. Right? So what's the easiest way to use this guy?
Well, I mean, I guess the easiest way, if we wanted to make him hardy, like better than a regular tree.
Lincoln. It's a layer with actions.
Oh, there we go. It is the layer. That is a great way to represent
it. Hey, Paul Jamal.
So we could say that within a certain distance, you're just in the layer of the Spirit Grove, and the Tree Guardian just acts how it wills.
Right. So it could animate a tree. It could show up as a ethereal, disembodied ghost thing. It could do all kinds of things. Just talk to you.
So we can get rid of all of this.
How's it going? I've been hanging out here for a long time. Super bored.
Yes.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. We're going to get like, what are those copyright strikes? We're going to get a copyright strike.
You better sing that song wrong. Exactly. You best do it.
Change up those lyrics.
So animate trees, that could say, you get, let's say you get, what's the normal thing? You get 3 layer actions.
Yeah.
And we could say, this costs 2.
Can you put a metal blade in it and use heat metal on it? Are you a murder hobo by chance? Because that's something a murder hobo would ask me.
That's the favorite thing my bard does. He's like,
I have a wagon with me at all times. It's full of burning oil. I haven't needed it yet, but mark my words.
I come prepared.
That 100 gallons of burning oil is going to get put to use.
You know, a dragon's going to come by, breath weapon you, and then you're going to die in a fiery explosion. There's like pieces of them were found. Like you'll be a new artifact. Just pieces scattered all over the realm. It's like the Rod of 7 Parts. Explosion edition.
Some campaigns it's fun to be murder hobos. Some campaigns you're like, GM, you don't want to run a game tonight. Why don't you just flip and randomly open the monster manual? That's our adventure. Sometimes there's entertainment there. I'm a hardcore role player, but sometimes there's a lot of fun in just Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you know what? That happened in one of Ted's games. It was like there wasn't a lot of us there, and he's just like, "Hey, what happens tonight?" And he's like, "Well, we go into this place." And we find some cultist stuff, and we fight them, and we beat them, or they're not there. But what happens is while we're there, we unwittingly activate, like summoning ritual, and bam, like Pit Fiend. So we fought a Pit Fiend on a. What do you guys want to do tonight, Wim? I'm like, Dave, you're never making a suggestion on what we do tonight again. I wanted to carouse for 4 hours. I'm perfectly fine as a noble merchant carousing for 4 hours. All right, so another layer action. We've got the animate trees. I think another one would be summoning woodland life, like summon creature, summon fae, that kind of stuff. So
Slats definitely wants XP to kill this thing. He said, can this spirit be damaged, or is it so bound to the tree that only damage to the spirit tree would affect it? I guess, where's the heart? How do I poke it, make it die? That's really... maybe you could put a fluff piece in that said it has 10 hit points. You can destroy it if you attack it, inflict 10 hit points of damage, but it can never be permanently destroyed. It will return to life at dawn unless the entire spirit grove, all 100 miles of it, is burned down or destroyed. Like, you can always do... Technically, there's a way to destroy it, but nobody's going to do that. Unless you have 100 gallons of burning oil.
And just have a flame arrow for each one of those.
Exactly.
All right, so I am going to do the cost 1. You can summon fae spirits.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Summons, and there's what did you say showed up in your spirit grove and you didn't want it there? Sprites and fairies.
Sprites and fairies, but
they were injected without your permission.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's okay. Nate, the player, was annoyed. Arbalasamir Dan, the high elf nature cleric, was very happy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because that meant like he was doing the thing he was supposed to. If natural fae sprites come and want to be like hang out, they happened to be homeless at the time and were looking for a place. So it wasn't, but I didn't know that, and that was never told to me. So as far as I know, they just decided that this was better than wherever they were before, which it absolutely was. But he just assumes they'd lived in some other fake grove and decided to relocate because of the awesomeness of the spirit grove.
When I was a younger man, I had a really dark group of players, and they found like a mushroom circle with a bunch of fairies running around it, dancing and singing and stuff. And they hadn't eaten in days. They hadn't had water in a little while, so they murdered all of them and ate them. I was gonna have the fairies create food and stuff for them and like replenish the party. No. One of the players was like, "I have a net."
Let's spit them all and roast them.
I have a net. I'll throw the net and you fireball them. And the whole time I'm just sitting there like, why? Why is this happening? But that's what happens. 10 years ago when I was role playing. Yeah, I have a net.
I can rule the world of fairies.
Ooh. The DM more. Give it the ability to create difficult terrain within 15 feet of itself. So maybe brambles, spiky brambles, something like that.
You know what? I think if I gave it, I'll give it. Okay, so it has layer actions. Let's give it some spells it can cast.
Green Dragon has a sweet one that would be perfect here. If you check the Green Dragon's layer actions, it can basically turn a hedge into a giant spiky razor blade bush.
Nice. So that is definitely better than spike growth.
Yeah.
So,
and it has just an effect on everything within a couple miles of it. Of course, there are other things the green dragon does that you probably would want to use, like you might want to use them. It keeps people as pets, and you know, your cleric's evil. That's fine.
I like the spell casting, so I say we pick a few spells for these. Is there, you know what? I wonder if I can just grab the Druid spell list from the
that is an excellent idea.
From the monsters manual here.
And Lincoln has some good suggestions. He said daytime sunbeam sunburst, nighttime moonbeam fog cloud darkness. Tons of stuff you could do that would just be conditional and thematic and kind of fun. That would probably keep the game more engrossing. Spike growth, entangle, wall of bramble from James Leslie. This name is banned. Said Witcher 3 spirit tree is possessed by a spirit that has a heartbeat and summons werewolves to defend it, and it has a quote heart that it defends in a lair right under the tree. That is super cool and super dark.
Yeah, I like that, but that's not for me.
That's pushing the. But you've got. Didn't you say you wanted wererabbits?
Wererabbits. They're an ancient order of fake creatures that go defending spirit trees, and they happened upon this one.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at Druid and it's like, second level? That's not any spells at all. And I saw, oh, there's an Archdruid. So let's do the Archdruid. There we go. Spell casting.
Andrew had a really cool idea. He said rot root. Anything buried there returns as one of these versions of undead.
Hoo-hoo.
So you could just have, if you get buried in the grove, you're going to be rocking out as a zombie in no time. Or a shambling whipvine dude who throws teeth at people, or one of those.
All right, so we'll have that as the, basically layer action where it can pay one and summon one of these creatures to say, oh, well, one of the multiple creatures that have died in the area is now one of these.
Yeah.
One of these plant monsters.
Oh, I like this. I like this quite a bit. Talk about mixed signals. A druid would be so confused. He'd be like, am I looking for the root of evil here, or is this okay? I need to consult my deity. I need to pray. Things are all wrong here.
So animates are, how are we going to say it? Animates or creates one of the unique plant or fungus.
Absolutely.
There we go. They are like undead, but not. There.
Critical masterpiece that innately cast a type of quicksand or hold people or suffocate them, like the lighting sand in The Princess Bride.
Oh, I like that.
Right. I just like Princess Bride references.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most I liked about that. James Leslie. All I can picture now is a confused forest gnome druid in the center of the grove screaming, "I need an adult!"
Exactly. I came here to pray and commune with nature. I'm so confused. Do we need to kill a necromancer somewhere, or is this good? Are we good?
Are we good here? It's a cycle of life. Riot Kurhan. Mystic Wujen, Mastery of Wood and Earth, Wall of Wood. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We could do a bunch of stuff with this. What are we doing here? What do we got?
All right. So let's just check out the spell casting and see what's missing. All right.
Okay.
All right. Do that.
I'm in.
So,
and it's just gonna toss spells out. Well, it's okay. It's like a giant. It's 100-mile across living entity. I don't feel like restrictions are super necessary.
Well, it's basically at that point, it's an 18th level spellcaster who doesn't have any physical attacks. So what else is it going to do besides cast spells? So we've got Druidcraft, Mending, Poison Spray, Produce Flame. I think those are all. Except maybe not Produce Flame. That's kind of weird. Aaron
Parks has some dad jokes coming in, getting those started. Would a corrupt evil version of this have the artifact, the root of all evil?
Evil.
Oh, man.
Critical masterpiece. Yeah, I am so at peace here, but the smell of rotting flesh is confusing me at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It'd be so weird. It'd be really, it would be a horrible, unusual place for any druid to be, or any cleric of nature for that matter.
Oh my gosh, the Visidrix, the 6/6 destroyer, which is just like this giant, terrible. I think it was a red creature from Magic the Gathering. It was like a 6/6 werebunny. It was like the barbarian of all barbarian werebunnies.
James Leslie is upset
Or was
that
it
you
blue?
put in
I don't remember.
werebunnies and didn't put in werebears.
I'm sure there'll be a werebear someplace. I was going for fluffy. And I'm gonna shut down Discord too.
Killing me. Yep. We got some rut rows.
Yeah,
and crashed again. It's sad panda. It's sad panda. It's okay. Maybe that'll fix it this time.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's 160. How bad could that actually be? I just think it's a bad night for internet. It's raining where I am. Normally, it's always bad internet when it's raining. So it's raining significantly.
Okay, it looks like we're live.
And we're back.
Hi.
Howdy.
Hi. We are absolutely struggling tonight, but we're back. Thank you for staying and hanging out.
I blame the March storms. That's what I'm blaming.
Mm-hmm.
So spellcasting, I like the idea of having that spore charm. So I'm going to include that as one of their things.
Okay, excellent. Really sorry. Some nights, like the last stream we had, there was not a bump in the road. It was like nice, smooth sailing all the way through. And tonight, we just can't win.
Yeah, and I've streamed MechWarrior before, and it was better behaved than this.
Yeah.
Not anytime recently, but I actually have better internet now, so.
Welcome back, Alpha Nerds. Alpha Nerds. Whatever, we wouldn't get anything done without chat. We just sit here and argue all night. You guys don't realize this, but you're here to solve our disputes so that we can agree on things.
It was like, let chat decide. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Let them die. Mending.
I thought it wasn't the Roman thing where it was thumbs up, they got to, no. Didn't they have some weird thing with the thumbs up?
One of them meant that you could kill the guy.
Yeah, one means you can kill the guy. The other one means, because I've seen movies and that's my immediate association, it's thumbs down, thumbs up, you live, thumbs down, you're toast. But there's something else. There was something to it. I don't remember. I'm useless.
So I'd like to give them a little more nature stuff, like being able to shape stone. There's a whole bunch of cantrips that I'm thinking of. The new spicy ones.
Spicy ones.
Yeah, that aren't.
I'm gonna bring up something. You're gonna be super mad at me. Is this SRDOGL?
I'm not super mad at you because I thought about it too.
Are you? So if you are not familiar, this is something I'm going to reference fairly often. The SRDOGL is basically the 5e version of the rules you're allowed to use that don't infringe on Wizards of the Coast's intellectual property. And it's just the open gaming license.
Hey, this isn't going to be plastered over the internet forever, so it's okay.
Well, if we ever want to do anything besides, just pass these out, it has to be OGL compliant.
Yeah, so spellcasting, there's a whole bunch of cool cantrips that shape stone, and I'll do all this other kind of cool stuff, and gust and all that kind of stuff that you should add when you play this, but I'm not going to add them just because I don't feel like having to take them back out later.
Exactly. Yeah. So maintaining compliance with that document is a painful affair, as it is for something else we've been working on.
Yeah. So overall, this is pretty cool. Okay, so you might see at 7th level there's Firestorm there. And Firestorm specifically says you can avoid damaging plants. So
really?
It is like a magic fairy fire. Yeah. It does something terrible, like 7d10 per 5-foot square, and you get 10 of those 5-foot squares, and you get to put them wherever.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's a druid spell. I think it's also a cleric spell.
Aaron Parks. He said another dad joke. A group of Galeb Dur protectors called the Rolling Stone.
D7M2. Can the tree have good berry? You know what? Back in the story arc of this grove, my character brought back something from the Isle of the Gods, and it's like a kumquat. Like it's a citrus thing that you can just eat the whole thing, and it's kind of cool, and it grows on a vine. So it's like a grape kumquat, whatever that is, that I made up.
And he has no idea what it does.
And I have no idea what it does. So it could definitely do a good berry thing. And you know what? It could be the something. So like the Spirit Grove could offer these to you, cast good berry on them, and then you're good to go. But I don't see good berry on here, so I'm going to have to add it now that I've said that.
And he did not verify with the GM what the fruit does. It just came from the Isle of the Gods with no description attached to it. If I have a conversation with Ted, you are in deep doo-doo because you just brought that back and planted it, man. I've got so many evil ideas for what to do with that.
Yes. So this means I need to get to Ted first, DM Ted first, and be like, so don't listen to Kienata about that at all.
Ignore him, please.
Yeah, he's just trying to throw shade on my awesome thing. That is totally not bad or evil, even though it came from an Isle of the Gods, which worship both light and dark gods. So, or acknowledged both of them. Yeah, so that was a problem. So there we go. I added good berries. And
James Leslie wants in on that chat with Ted.
No, I'm so
We're
glad
all
he's not
conspiring against you.
He's not usually on Discord, so
Just watch. I'm gonna have my eyes peeled for him now. Okay, all right. So, Goodberry.
Yes. What about it? So Goodberry. I think that's a good amount. I'm sure we can think of other spells, but I could move on as well.
Right, but we'll never get anything done if we just stay here.
So basically, it's an arch druid with 0 speed, a whole bunch of hit points, a whole bunch of layer actions, and it's
taking 20. What's up, taking 20?
Hey, Cody.
Who you calling sexy? I've seen you.
So what you missed was we started talking about the Spirit Grove monsters that we brought up this past Sunday, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy in between what I thought was totally legit and not an evil creature, and what most of chat and Kienata thought was an evil creature.
It was evil. It was evil.
Just because you use a dead body to grow something doesn't make the thing that you get out of it evil, even if it is an animate corpse.
It's dark.
That's all I'm saying.
It's dark stuff. If I was your GM, I would be like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And then when the adventure was over, I'd be like, hey, before you leave tonight, go ahead and change your alignment. Yeah, bump that puppy over to evil. Have a good night. Yeah, I would have never let you leave with all of that. It's crazy.
I didn't even do it yet. So anyway, basically it's transmutation spells because it makes plants grow fast. It's what plants crave. So it's totally fine.
It's got what plants want.
Yeah.
Electrolytes.
And stuff. Yeah. So vampire werebuddies of doom. That sounds pretty good. So I would say that this guy's pretty much done. The spirit tree, the tree guardian of the grove, is done. And I would say that the spells being cast and the different things that go on is really the tree spirit's entity, but the entity is only seen with true sight and really doesn't have any physical attacks or anything like that. It's just hanging out, chilling on the ethereal plane or astral or wherever, and interacts with this world by being bound to the trees.
Okay. All right. So this is it. We can kind of push this guy off to the side and be like, look, you burn the whole forest down. We'll talk about him being dead. Other than that, I know he lives on. So other things that live in this wonderful, beautiful place.
Well, we did talk about having some were creatures.
Hmm.
And aside from, I'm not opposed to there being things like werebears and stuff. I like werebadgers. That's pretty cool sounding. We got, we also have werebunnies. That's a thing.
I like how DEC 7M2 just turns it straight up to 11. He says, this grove is so old. How about a Tarrasque died under the grove at some point, and now the party has a fight with a zombie Tarrasque. But I thought that was kind of the kicker with the Tarrasque is it's never really dead. There's always a Tarrasque. Although in 5th edition, I'm pretty sure you can kill the sucker. I think it's literally like the only edition you can kill it. I'm almost positive. All the other editions had something about no killing the Tarrasque. I don't think we're doing anything with the Tarrasque here. That is way over the top.
That's a story for another campaign, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Druids and Tarrasques. So,
yes.
I definitely am down for werebunnies and werefoxes. We can say that there's other were creatures in the area, but that's kind of a given. They're in the monsters manual, so just like kind of port them over.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make a note that they're here. But what do you say we craft us some of these other were creatures?
Werebunnies. Usagi Yojimbo. I'm almost positive that's his name now. I never looked it up, but I feel good about saying that name. My brain is like, no, that's good. You're good. Were skunks. Were foxes.
This is going to start looking like
down with
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Palladium Edition.
Thank you, Paul Jamal. I am still super down with were foxes. Although I will say the Kitsune is a thing. It's not a thing in 5e, so we could kind of hop in and be the ones that make that happen.
Yeah. Well, something that applies to pretty much all were creatures.
Taking 20 wants were skunks.
I'll take it under advisement here.
I'm ready just for the mechanics challenge.
Yeah. I'm already thinking like, oh, would you give them stinking cloud, or would you
give
them gas noxious fumes, or?
Well, I will say the biggest problem with having something like a were skunk is if you are familiar with the countryside, or I live in Montana, if there's a skunk within 2 miles, you can smell it. This sacred grove isn't that big. Like the whole thing smells like skunks now. It would be really tough to hide that somewhere.
There's some kind of stank going on here.
Andrew wants sand sharks. Yeah, James Leslie still thinks a Kitsune would be a reskinned Tabaxi.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I don't like the quickness thing, the Tabaxi quickness. And I'm not saying it's a bad ability. I'm saying I wouldn't want to just port that over to another creature.
I kind of don't know if I want to play the Kitsune card. You know what I'm saying? Like if we make that creature, are we really going to burn it right here? This is going to be our version of it? Like, because it's such a special creature.
Yeah, I feel like I'd want to mull it over.
Yeah, and really do something big with it. I mean, that's...
But were-bunnies, we could just get into that. Were-skunks, we can just get into that right now.
We're not wasting anything with those. Taking 20 is going with they don't stink unless they want to. I'm willing to take that approach.
Yeah, we could go with that. If we do
like natural world skunk, that's not going to work. But if it stinks when it wants to and doesn't stink when it doesn't want to, is there a were skunk with a French accent anywhere?
All right, so if we were going to do were skunk, I'm thinking they're obviously weaker than a werebear, stronger than a were rat, but not much stronger than a were rat. So what are we looking at? Let's look at were rat and just kind of pump it up. What do you think?
Is there I would put them right below a werewolf.
Oh yeah.
A skunk is a vicious, gnarly creatures. It has creatures, plural. Apparently there's more than one. It has claws, angry claws, and teeth, fangs.
Nasty big pointy teeth.
Nasty pointy teeth. I told them.
They wouldn't listen.
Ooh, yeah. This name band said the wereskunk could have a permanent cloud effect on them. So maybe it's not a 4-mile radius. Maybe it's like a 10-foot radius. You get in melee range, and you're like, oh my, oh. Just...
Well, Stinging Cloud makes you, if you fail your con save, you just retch for the round instead of doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly. James Leslie said they have huge claws, like werewolf claws.
All right. Okay. Let's go with the werewolf. So I would say there is a ghast ability.
Okay. All right.
That is a funky smell.
Okay.
So I'm going to go grab that.
I'm trying to think of other creatures. No, that'll be a good one. I'm thinking of other creatures that also have similar. There are several creatures that have stinky perfume effects.
Yeah. So let's check this out. I'll bring it on over and we'll see if it works.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's see if it works. That is not nice, Donovan Andrews.
Right.
An acidic spray able to melt armor or weapons that are non-magical.
Ooh, that's strong.
It's already super destructive in melee, the direction we're going right now. I mean, that would be crazy.
So stench for a ghast. This is the ghast stench. Any creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of the ghast must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned until the start of its next turn. On a successful save, it's immune for the 24 hours. So basically, if you can get past the first, like, oh, then you're like, oh, I can't smell anything right now. I'm good.
What if we modified it so you're just disabled retching?
Okay, well, for that,
you know what I mean?
I would say we could take a look at some Stinking Cloud.
Yeah.
That is more of the, maybe it has 2 forms. Maybe it has this regular stench, like if you're right up in its business, it does this stench thing.
Yeah.
And then if you, like when it wants to like let it loose and disable people in the area, it can drop this bomb.
Andrew, I am super into the giant talking spirit of nature creatures like the Princess Mononoke, the boar and the wolf. I'm totally into that theme. I absolutely adore it.
So we take a look at Stinging Cloud on the right. So you get a 20-foot radius, and each creature that's completely within the cloud on the start of its turn must make a con save, or they spend their action retching.
Heck yeah.
And reeling on the ground.
Yes.
And if you don't need to breathe or are immune to poison, you automatically succeed at it. And it can get dispersed by wind. Can you imagine just like this reek coming up on you and you're like, oh.
That would instantly make me throw up. That would be really impressive. That would be horrible. Yeah, James Leslie says, what about the stench ability from troglodytes? There, like I was saying, there's like several versions of the stench ability.
Oh yeah, troglodytes. I did not look at those. I'm not remembering.
There are a few different creatures that are just like stinky.
Yeah.
I can understand. Okay, Cardboard Fortress wants to know. I can understand a skunk monster, but why a were creature? I'll be totally honest. Purely because it was asked of us.
Yeah. Now,
literally,
this could easily, if we decided to not go were route, and it could just be a giant like skunk, like giant land sloth. Like it could just be a giant skunk, and I feel like it would have similar statistics to a werewolf. Because they're pretty. I mean, werewolves are pumpty, but this would be like a large creature instead of werewolves are the medium size, right? So you're looking at a large creature, like some kind of lumbering giant anteater sloth kind of thing. I
vote we leave this one to chat.
Sure, I'm good with it.
So Paleolithic, or was it Paleolithic? Sloth, giant sloth.
I don't know why I want to say Pleistocene, but
okay,
whatever.
all right. One of them. It starts with a P. I'm probably
Yeah, I'm pretty
confusing my
sure.
P's.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
prehistoric, there's my catch-all. Prehistoric sloth size skunk or were-skunk. Oh, Aaron Park's question is, how about an awaken effect on all normal animals in the grove? We actually, in the world building stream we did last time, we literally did that.
Yeah, we talked about you not needing, if you're a druid or cleric of high enough level, you can actually activate awaken without spending the GP costs for the actual material components for being within like basically the center, the chapel, as you will, of the grove.
And prehistoric cardboard. I'm saying things in reverse. Cardboard Fortress said, "Okay, what does the where part bring to the table?" Totally valid question. What effect does this have on the human form? How is this person not instantly recognized by its stinking clothes? I agree, and he's kind of pushing for the prehistoric skunk as well. I think the prehistoric skunk would be an interesting direction, like giant sloth direction would be pretty cool.
And maybe rather than were creatures, they are skunks who happen to be able to turn into another, like this shape changed form. You know how, like, what is it like? There's some creatures that their natural state is that of the animal, and then they can also transform into other things. So it could just be like an add-on that this is a especially magic creature that can alter its shape. So this is like under the umbrella of were creatures, but not necessarily like the werewolf howling at the moon kind of thing.
Okay. I like the giant skunk. Platinum Mudkip said, I like the giant skunk as an enemy more, but a were skunk could be better because of some aspects which are not listed. Giant skunk feels...
You can talk with were creatures. You can, there's other things you can do with things that have a higher than animal intelligence.
Giant skunk feels more acceptable to most people's games. Where the were creature seems very specific and situational. So, and I completely sympathize with that as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel just a giant sloth skunk that smells real bad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, that was wonderful. Excuse me.
So we're gonna say this is the giant skunk riders.
Giant skunk riders? Who would ride a skunk? Surely there is something that is easier to tame and ride than a skunk. James Leslie says, I'm more in favor of the were creature since the grove is man-made. The prehistoric one, I would think, would have to pre-exist in the world and happen to migrate there. That does also kind of give value to your concept of the awakened creatures. Perhaps this is some magic-infused super skunk.
Super skunk. There we go. Giant skunk.
Okay. All right.
I like the stinging cloud effect. It would be like an action it could take. I like the stench, just general. What'd you say? I mean, do they really smell if they haven't blasted somebody in the past day or so? Like, how long do they stink for?
Basically, the way it works is they have glands and they're constantly secreting odor. It just never goes away. Skunks always smell bad.
Okay.
Just handling a skunk and you'll end up stinky. So... and we do have some good points coming up in chat. Some group of people that deaden their sense of smell, and Jonathan Snow reinforces this. He says people who lost their sense of smell, that's who rides them. So I mean, I guess if you wanted to go that route. Yeah, and Cardboard Fortress says that he likes the idea of a super skunk as a sort of Princess Mononoke style corruption spirit.
I gotta watch that. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Oh God, I love that movie. I love that movie. Oh, Since when did the ape tribe eat the flesh of man? Oh God, it's so good. Anyway.
Oh yeah, you know, how many tails does the giant skunk have?
Oh, we could give it multiple tails. It could just fan its tails instead of doing the handstand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It can do like the 3-tail shake.
Exactly.
It's like you're gonna get skunked if you don't knock it off.
There are monkeys, little tiny monkeys that I can't remember the name of right now in Madagascar, that the way they communicate with each other, with females, is they have glands in their hands. They rub their tails down and then they waft their tail at girls. Hey, how you doing? Do I smell good to you? Yeah. That's not how I do it, just for the record.
So Aaron Parks, if your alignment stinks, you have to ride the giants. You have to ride the skunks.
Okay, all right. So giant stinky skunks.
Yes. So there's one. So let's now move on to the actual were creatures.
Okay.
We'll kick this down.
We made stinky vomiting, and we're actually, this is the first Monster Mash we've done. We're ahead of the game. We're actually making good time. We've never done this before.
I think we did pretty well the first one. And then the thing was, the second and third one, we were doing basically player races. So that was intense. There's a lot of story to go along with that.
Oh, thank you. Donovan Andrews said lemurs. It's lemurs that rub their little hands together to make their tails think. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I met a guy in Best Buy the other day. I was buying an extension cable and I was talking to him and he told me the best centaur joke. If you show up in chat tonight, tell the joke in chat again, please. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I laughed so hard. It's such a dad joke. I laughed so hard. Okay. All right.
All right. So are we doing the were bunnies?
Yes, were bunnies it is. I like were bunnies. Does anybody, how do people feel about the were bunnies? And we could even say that the were bunnies ended up coming to the Grove because we have that group of displaced people, the refugees that showed up. Maybe the refugees is just a huge family unit, 20 or 30 people in an extended family. They're all wererabbits.
That could be.
Why does a wererabbit sound so cool to me? It really sounds cool.
I don't know. Does duck bunny sound cool to you?
For the win, I cannot remember what the centaur joke was. It is killing me right now. I cannot tell you how badly I wish. I told him about the chat and I said, show up, please talk to me. I will talk to you. And he didn't. He's not here. He's killing me. I would love that joke right now.
Are there bunnies or rabbits in the Monsters Manual?
Oh, dude, I have no idea. You have D&D Beyond. I'm not opening a book.
No, do it.
I'm not opening any book.
Confirm.
Were bunny.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't think there's any rabbit. I can get Gamma World. Gamma World had jackalopes or whatever they were. That's the closest
jackalopes.
Rabbit. Yeah, they were awesome, man. I love Gamma World. Love Gamma World. Were clams from the Water Elf episode. We never made were clams. You guys just got obsessed. Someone was pushing the clam idea.
Or the clam hydra.
Yeah. You guys just went like completely off and we're trying to keep up.
It was internet gold. It was just fine. It worked out just fine.
Do you think it'd be in the monster manual under bunny or rabbit?
That's what I was saying. I'm typing in both and I'm not seeing it. Or hair.
No, there's nothing in here for that.
Oh, I'm gonna grab the stats for the horned bunny.
Horned bunny?
It's the closest thing. All it has is a horn attack.
I would say were-rat, and then chat, help us out here. Get Cardboard Fortress. Now I remember that you were the dissenter who made everybody talk about clams. I remember now. Stop talking about clams. We need to talk. We're trying to find bunny rabbit stats. Help us, please.
Okay, so this little cute guy is the Almira. Is a little bunny. It's like a floppy-eared Angora bunny, and it has a horn on its head. And it jumps and charge attacks with its horn.
This is awful.
Now it's got a 1-foot horn. That's no joke. That's like kill you right through the heart, dead.
It is absolutely terrifying for something to have a 1-foot horn if it could possibly pick the horn up with its tiny little neck. There's no way it can carry around whatever. It's D&D. It's fine. It's D&D. It's fine.
Oh, it's pretty big. If it's a 1-foot horn, that means that like when it goes like this, it's like 2.5 feet to 3 feet tall without the horn. So it's a small creature, but it's a big small creature. Halflings would run in terror if they were.
Did you just say it's a big, small creature? Are you trying to confuse people?
It is a small creature, but it is on the larger size of the small range.
So
would you say that actually clarified that?
Would you say that's a big, small creature?
Or a big, small creature.
Perfect. Okay. I completely... Yeah, werebunny.
So this little guy is pretty weak. I mean, he's got a 2 strength, 16 dex, 3 hit points. I'm thinking we might have to buff him up a little bit.
Yeah, Cardboard Fortress has a reasonably good approach. He said werebunny, just lower the damage on a werewolf and give it a crazy jump distance, maybe a pounce attack. I would almost say that its stats would be very similar to just generic human attributes, 10s across the board, nothing too crazy, and then give it some bumps in a few spots. He did mention crazy jump distance and a pounce attack, which I'm in love with. I like the idea of that.
Okay, so there are a few things that get a crazy jump attack and a pounce, and that would be a lion. So if we wanted to make the bunny form have all the goodness that we're looking for, I'm pretty sure we can just grab lion as its bunniness. So let's say, when it's totally camouflaged, it's this little cute 3 hit point bunny jumping around, which it does not stay in that form if it wants to live.
Okay, so James Leslie, all I can picture is the white rabbit from the Holy Grail. I'm pretty sure that half the brains here are filled with that right now.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is it jumping around.
Okay, Cardboard Fortress, serious question, and this is a very good question. Do werebunnies spread their curse more rapidly than other were creatures, or do they have more children, which are werebunnies?
I almost feel like they might not spread the curse. They might just only procreate.
Oh, good twist, man.
What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah,
you like have my vote. That is smart. I like that. They just procreate and they have broods of children.
Because otherwise you're gonna have epidemics. You're gonna have epidemics of these suckers.
How many children would you say is a lot of children for a human to have? 2 in my book is a lot, but like in one birthing.
Okay, so if you at one time, yeah, 2 is a lot.
Well, that's what we're talking about here. 2 is a lot.
So you're talking about like comparatively speaking, a werebunny. You say like, if you had like 2 or 3. I think maybe.
What if they always have twins?
Yeah, maybe that's the standard. It's like triplets is a possibility, and there's always at least twins.
So triplets is as rare as twins in humans, but twins are just what happens. You never have one bunny baby. Oh my God. Do it. Yes. This is amazing. It's the fluffy stuff that makes me happy. I mean, fluff is in the flavor text on the sides, not fluffy stuff, because that's boring. But this is still cool.
Rainbows, fluffy stuff, and...
I think the world is overrun by werebunnies. Makes sense that they aren't really biters. So all I can think of is the Holy Grail. And go ahead.
So we've got Keen Smell, Pack Tactics, Pounce, Running Leap. We keep Running Leap, we keep Pounce. Pack Tactics are also like the bunnies, just like multitude of the bunnies from the Holy Grail. Keen Smell, I mean,
yeah, why not?
I think in their werebunny form they could have it. And Pack Tactics, that would be pretty scary, actually. A pack of werebunnies all hunting something. But
dude,
aren't they herbivores?
They are veggie eaters. They are exclusively veggie eaters.
But sometimes, when only one is born,
they could be. If there's ever a single bunny,
it's a
black
curse.
rabbit.
Yes.
and it just wants meat,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Clovers and other things cannot satisfy its hunger.
Andrew said, "Were bunnies the D&D tribbles?"
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, so if you get like twins to triplets, and then you have let's say the gestation period, I think that's the word, for the bunny is not like 9 months like a human, but it's like shorter. Maybe it's just 6 months makes a big difference.
And James Leslie brings up an important point. You're looking at 1 to 14 were-rabbits every few months per family. But I think it would be much, much more realistic to assume that these are people too. And they're not going to, quote, breed like rabbits. They're probably going to control the quantity of offspring they have to at least some degree.
Well, it depends on how much they like to run around as just a little silly little rabbit form. Because that could get a lot of them killed, and that would be a high mortality rate. As For the Win says, and I agree, that would be a high mortality rate. I was like going to say it while he was typing it in. It looked like, yeah. So I would think that if they enjoy running around as a rabbit, then that might get a lot of people killed.
Yeah.
And it's like, I told him not to go rabbit on Saturday. It's very dangerous, but it didn't listen to me.
Jonathan Snow said they're more people than rabbit. I'd assume they'd be like the natural born. I always did in my campaigns. I always said if you were infected, you turned into a wolf and then back into a person. You don't get control of your character while you're a wolf. And you're just a huge wolf, like 3 feet at the shoulder, rip people in half wolf. But if you are a purebred, if you were born from werewolves, then you get the medium form where you're the hybrid between the two and you can do it whenever you want. There's no telling what this guy's going to do, but we'll see.
All right,
a gnomish weremole would be a neat encounter. Yes, it would. That would be awesome. Anyway.
James Leslie says, so the mark of the carrot is a sign of the were-rabbit. Like little carrots like carved on little tree pieces there.
Yeah, carrots on their shields.
They've got carrot blades instead of leaf blades.
Mm-hmm. They wouldn't really have claws either. These are were creatures that are going to need melee weapons.
I don't know. I think everything becomes more. What is that called? Like primeval or whatever when you do a were form.
So you're saying big schnick claws and giant.
At least as significant that they could be killing some things. So, I mean, even, what is it? There's a few creatures that get D6 attacks. So a few player races, I think, that get D4 and D6 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm thinking for their melee bite being a D8 is not a big deal. And I think their slashing damage is like being a D6. I mean, we could lower that to a D4, but...
I would lower it to a D4. That's just my personal opinion. Chat, you're always welcome to weigh in on your opinion and damage here and disagree with either of us. Cardboard Fortress, another serious question. Are we still going with regen unless silver is used? Is this true for all were creatures we think of, or are there different weaknesses? Interesting idea. Totally a carrot with fangs, Lincoln. Totally a carrot with a mohawk of leaves and fangs. Like that's their anyway.
All right. I'm not sure. I wanna say if we could figure out some kind of something that makes rabbits sick that doesn't usually affect people. I think that would be pretty cool. So like if there was a special plant or herb that they ate accidentally and it makes them ill. You know.
Yeah, Donovan Andrews, I'm kind of in the same headspace as you. I see them running around using melee weapons and staying in their hybrid form for long periods of time. That's kind of where my head's at. Like they'd be human if they had to be human just to fit in. I imagine the teenagers would constantly be running off and changing into were form, like the hybrid form, so they did not have to deal with being human. We should stay in this form all the time. This is who we are, man. Let's go show our parents. We're going to walk through town like this and be stoned to death Anyway, I just the whole situation played out in my head. I got to talk to those kids.
Well, so it seems like
go ahead.
It seems like there's a whole bunch of stuff that rabbits shouldn't eat. But,
is there?
It's
you
like,
looked it up.
It's nothing like super special. It's like well, they shouldn't eat like lettuce because it could give them intestine problems, or beans or cabbage, or kind of like
throw beans at them.
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, it seems like it should just eat like regular junk you get in the garden. So
that's it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's things they must avoid in it. So like you got hemlock and horsehound and honeysuckle.
Whoa! Hemlock?
Yeah, that's gonna kill you.
But
deadly nightshade, belladonna's gonna be a problem.
Well, that will kill people too.
Yeah. So I think if you made like an herbal mix, put it on your blade, and swung at a wererabbit, it would hurt it, because there seems like there's a lot. Is this the 7 herbs and spices again? Yeah. You mix...
Are you just hungry for KFC today, or what?
All right, so there's certain things you just can't get at certain times of the day, and by the time the stream's over, I think I might barely be able to make it to KFC. But I'm not sure. I gotta check it. It's a KFC Taco Bell mix, so that leaves me hopeful.
Oh my god!
That I can grab some chicken.
Oh, the Taco Bell
fries. Spices. So, did you try those?
Oh god, they're good.
I looked at them and I was like, I shouldn't eat these. I'm just not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to try them in case they're actually good.
My wife and I got them. We tried them. It was not good. We've totally gone downhill here. All right, so
okay, so like I should not eat those fries. The rabbits have a whole host of green leafy things that they shouldn't eat.
So what if instead of silvered blades, instead of all of our normal things, like for instance, there's an herb called wolfsbane, right?
Yeah.
What if there is a specific herb we pick? It doesn't necessarily need to be selected right now. That is, like tasselfoot herb or whatever. We can make one up.
It's not. So it wouldn't be obviously poisonous to everything. Like hemlock is like obviously poisonous to everything.
Right, but if you slick a blade with this stuff, this is the silver weapon damage for them.
So there's this thing called arrowgrass that they shouldn't eat, and I actually really like the idea that they shouldn't eat arrowgrass. So because like arrow, it's got a weapon name in the plant name, so I think that could be pretty cool. What do you think, Chad?
Oh, interesting. DEC7M2, I've often asked that same question, but I'm pretty sure it would just go away. If a weird creature gets a tattoo, would it show up on the fur or would it be under? If you are a player and you really want your tat to show up, I'd probably just go for it, dude. But other than that, Aaron Parks, I like the 2nd edition rule in Von Richten's guide that gave different weaknesses. An example, the Mountain Loop Guru needed gold to harm it instead of silver. So I'm definitely liking this. I'm definitely liking the direction we're going in. Donovan Andrews is talking about it. He's talking about food. Okay.
So bunnies, arrowgrass looks pretty cool. I think we should go with that. It actually forms long stalks with all these little buds on it. So, I'm for arrowgrass personally. Maybe we could find a more flavorful thing that we could use for it, but seriously,
what is that? The 3rd or 4th time tonight?
It's the 4th, I think.
I have no idea.
Might as well be.
Death everywhere we look. Why? Okay, no, we're back.
And we're back.
We weren't screaming or crying in pain because the stream died.
Internet, you should think the werebunny's beautiful.
Okay, so sorry about that. And someone said they had to leave. Bye. Oh, no audio? Really? Oh, that's miserable.
I'm getting audio here.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Press F5 and please tell me if we have audio. If you cannot hear me, that is a problem. We can hear you fine. I hear you. Okay, cool.
Getting a lot of internet problem here today.
I know. We're kind of fighting for it tonight. Boom, we good. Boom, we good. Okay, plenty of audio. Okay, I'm sorry, JJ Hewitt. I will tone it down. My bad. Okay, all right. So, werebunnies. I really like. So you're not feeling werebunnies running around with swords and things like that. You're not feeling that.
I'm fine with it. I just don't think that it should be a requirement. I mean, ideally, it does actually do more damage if they were to use swords, like a longsword and a shield.
And you're saying like 1d4 points of damage with the.
Yeah, if we do 1d4 points of damage for their general attack for the claws, that would kind of make sense for them to do that.
Okay, and there was a question earlier, and I'm sorry I don't remember who asked this, but someone asked about a burrowing speed. And I'm not big, I'll be totally honest, I'm super not big on giving humanoids a burrow speed. It just does not jive in my brain. I'm just like trying to figure out how it would work. But maybe a really slow burrowing speed, because they definitely seem like maybe they live in Hobbit-esque holes. You know what I mean? Like Hobbit homes, except not nicely trimmed in mahogany with books and food everywhere. Maybe more dirt ground.
No, Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit,
every
exactly.
Rabbit is Peter Rabbit.
Oh God. Jonathan Snow still wants a rapier. Aaron Park says, how about nocturnal were creature equals harm by silver and diurnal were creature harm by gold? Metals of the moon, metals of the sun. That could be cool thematically. I think we're stuck with the vegetable poison now.
We don't have to be.
Are the enemies the mighty hob? Are the enemies of the werebunnies werehawks? In my dreams, I wish. Let's make werehawks next time. Those sound awesome.
I put an extra.
The wings.
I put a little addition onto that last one for the fluff.
No, or 24 karat gold. There's some alchemist somewhere like or a blacksmith trying to purify gold. Oh, those werebunnies are gonna get it. Once I get another huge gold idol to melt down into pure 24 karat gold, they're doomed. Yeah, there we go. Cardboard Fortress has got the right idea. A slow, non-combat burrow speed, but only when in hybrid form. Okay, JJ Hewitt, that was you were who said had to go. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, man. Donovan Andrews brings up bronze instead of silver. Bronze. I don't know. What are your settings like? I have a mixture. Like I do dwarves brought steel, so a lot of human tribes are still Bronze Age because they have some steel items but don't make steel items. So in my setting, bronze would be just as bad as just saying like cold iron. You know what I mean? Because that would be like fairly common. Players sometimes start with bronze equipment.
Okay. So you're saying in your setting that's the way it is because you've got a delineation between how good dwarves don't just make good stuff, they actually have the secrets of steel.
They have the secret of steel. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you. Yeah. And Dwayne Montgomery would like to go on the super dark side of this. They should use their breeding to take over towns, disguising as regular people. And since they breed so much faster, they could take control of farming communities for food.
There you go.
That is a dark story you tell, sir. Cardboard Fortress says, I'm hearing a lot of overlap with were rats here. rapiers and taking over towns. I think to focus these as rural and being like farmers and country folk. Farmers' weapons like pitchforks and scythes. I just see them being like normal townsfolk, like just like normal people. Like I wouldn't delineate them as any specific thing or headset. I would just say, you know, Farmer John had twins, and he had twins again, and he had twins again. You know, like nobody would even notice. They'd be like this, if you figured out as a D&D character that werebunnies existed, you'd kind of feel like you'd been let in on a secret because you would never have expected them to exist. And that's like just the way they like it.
Yeah, and I could see them, well, I mean, once you have one generation of werebunnies enter an area and they get married off to whoever, you own like half the town at that point. You're like, well, my 12 children all married somebody, so now I'm like connected to 12 families. So that happens one more generation, and you've got like most of the land, most of the ownership of the businesses and everything, and you're just like, yep. It's kind of like you'd be kind of like eventually after a couple generations you become a closed off community because it's all everybody's like has werebunny blood.
And there's at least one. Donovan Andrews says they're all led by Peter Wererabbit. You're definitely going to run into a guy named Peter who is a wererabbit. Like any GM who does not throw that in on you has failed.
I refuse.
You have to have that.
I refuse. They can live in hobbit holes, but there's no Peter Rabbit actually.
I feel very much like, and Cardboard Fortress was saying like werebears are good aligned. I feel like the good aligned thing kind of fits here. I really hate to, for me, I find it really hard to just take any group and just go, boom, these guys are good guys. These guys are bad guys. I try to always make alignment more circumstantial. Please go ahead.
All right. Culturally, they're good. Because otherwise they would have taken over the world just through population explosion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So they've got to have natural desire to not conquer everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, being more a group of vegetarians, I would say that they're more in line with kind of less hostile, like more reserved.
They're vegetarians.
Yeah.
Their biggest concerns, I mean, if you go off basic human principle, they want food, they want happiness, like security, they get all of that just being farmers. Like they're probably just killer vegetable farmers. Really good looking carrots today, this week, Billy Buck or whatever your name is. Like it wouldn't be anything too crazy.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wererabbits. Oh, the mighty hob.
I will say, when we're talking about things concerning alignment, you should probably always take what I say with a grain of salt, because typically what I do with alignment in campaigns is I just tell players to leave it empty. I don't use it.
I do use it. We're going to say these guys are neutral good. What do you think?
Cardboard Fortress says, yeah, but werewolves are evil. They are cursed. They frenzy and eat people. All true. I guess the biggest question is, are they the same personality when human as when transformed? Do they remember changing? That's a really good question.
Oh, yeah. I think these are natural shape changers. They're not going to have...
Here we go.
They're not going to have the issue of being afflicted or cursed. In fact, we were talking about how they don't actually curse people. Like, they can't.
Yeah, they can't. They don't have any way of cursing people. They can only create more rare rabbits through procreation.
Because if they were evil, like, or malignant in nature when they were transformed into were creatures, and they could curse people, and they have this prolific birth rate, there's just going to be an entire planet of werebunnies.
And you can always make extenuating circumstances to control that. But I like if we see they can't curse people. It's just, I mean, there could have been a god who thought this was really hilarious, and he put it on as a curse, and they just proliferated, and it's been, 3,000 years, and he just completely forgot about it at this point. Do you remember when you? Oh, I did do that.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, wererabbits.
That was a crazy
Hilarious,
party.
right?
That was a crazy party the night before.
Exactly. Hanging out with the god of wine. He said wererabbits would be cool. I was like, done.
Yeah.
No. Multi-tier underground carrot farms. I feel like these would be weak enough to potentially be a player race. That's Dwayne Montgomery. I totally would let somebody be a wererabbit. Why not?
So they can transform?
The biggest advantage a player would get out of this is the regeneration that lycanthropy offers. Well, I guess it's not technically. Would you still call it lycanthropy?
I don't want to think about
lichen.
What the?
Yeah. Okay. We don't need a Latin lesson right now. Okay. So, I would totally let a player be a wererabbit.
I don't think I would.
Uh-oh. I'm getting hate comments about my alignment thing.
Well, I mean, not using it's a big deal for D&D. Like there is an actual like good and lawfulness in the universe. There's actually chaotic and evil in the universe.
Yeah, but I don't use a pantheon of gods either. I use
that would change things significantly. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you don't have angels and demons, it's kind of hard to.
Nope.
They're like
no angels and demons.
They're like the far right and far left on the spectrum of alignment there. On the I don't know, timeline line.
If someone
graph,
walks up to you and casts detect evil on you, if you are thinking of murdering or harming them, then they detect a ton of evil. That's not actually evil to think about hurting somebody. Unless you do it all the time and enjoy it. Yeah, let's add some qualifiers to that real quick. That's super dark. Don't think about hurting people. Yeah. Think about hugging people and loving people. Like I just thought about punching somebody right now and I don't feel any more evil. Stop thinking about me. I wasn't thinking about you. James Leslie, that's coming from the Twisted Nature Cleric. Yeah, exactly. No, I prefer to take an animism approach where like everything has a soul and stuff like that. So you don't need an alignment system for that. A swarm of bunnies. Cardboard fortress. I like it. Yeah, that's the only way they're really going to get damaged without foot horns on their heads. They just have nasty big pointy teeth. That's where their bite attack is coming from. For their form. Real quick, is there anything you guys felt like we missed out on? Anything you guys and gals you feel like we need to add or include in this? Maybe even something you feel like we did wrong or you hate it. I don't know. Let us know. Tell us right now, because we only have a little bit of time left, and we're gonna have to do our wrap up. Our Nate, tell us what we did tonight. Oh yeah, that's true. Let me just grab the regeneration. Yeah, they do need to regenerate. Yeah, otherwise they're not really a werebeastie. James Leslie has an interesting reason to have a transition. He said, seriously, though, if a wererabbit is eaten by a guy out hunting and snaring rabbits for food, does it pass on the curse? I can just imagine this thing is gamey. My brother. What about the sniffer from the Wheel of Time? He can smell evil, but it's stuff like he can smell violations, especially murder. Those who kill smell the worst. I prefer to... like I said, I'm like super hardcore into the role play side of things. So for me, the mechanic doesn't become necessary. Hey, sorry to break this up, but they don't have regeneration in 5e. I thought they did. I just assumed they did. I'll be honest. I just thought it was there. No. Yeah, I thought so too. Well, they do have. Okay, they've got damage in this edition. They've got damage immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical, or attacks that aren't silvered. So in this case, it would be attacks that aren't this plant base on it, or 24 karat gold. And they could have, but they have immunity to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing. That's the werewolf. From non-magic sources. Well, then makes sense. Fill them full arrow. They don't really need regeneration at that point. That's
Yeah, I
like
mean,
every melee weapon.
yes, that's not like, but you come with people come ready for you or cast magic on their weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
They're gonna screw you up.
No,
But,
that's fine.
hey, if they come prepared, you got to reward the players when they want to go murder a bunch of neutral good bunnies. Those bastards.
Cardboard Fortress wants the curse to be passed on by eating the rabbit. You're cursed to turn into a rabbit and possibly get eaten.
There's a nice amount of Greek god action going on there. You like eat it and you're cursed to be it. I like that. I like that a lot.
Dwayne Montgomery said a god that hates plants made them as the bane of vegetables.
I am Sir Pepin, vegetable bane.
Absolutely, Dwayne Montgomery. I would totally let you play one of these, man. These seem legit. I mean, the damage immunity, I thought it was going to be regeneration. Either way, the problem for me, and I'm sure the problem for you, is the additions start to run together at some point.
Yeah, that does happen.
Tavern adds the rabbit stew to the menus and everyone suddenly starts having twins. As a vegetarian, I approve of this karmic curse. Thank you, Cardboard Fortress.
There, okay, so we're adding in the rabbit is also cursed. And so if you consume a wererabbit, I'm losing my ability to speak here.
For the Wind says, centaurs were originally created in the god's drunken stupor and were meant to be drunken troublemakers. What pantheon? What does that come from? Because I don't know. And I'm sad about the centaur joke now. Man, you're killing me.
You should have said, hey, can you say it one more time into this voice recorder? I got somewhere to be tonight, and I've got to have it. Yeah, so if you consume a wererabbit, you may contract weritis.
Weritis?
It's like bonitis, but different. Mix in cartoon references here.
No.
DC 10, let's say. DC 10, con save.
All right, it's wrap-up time.
All right, so let's hop into this. So we've got the Spirit Grove. We have the Tree Guardian of the Grove, which is a stationary tree. It can understand languages. That XP cost is incorrect. We're going to have to switch that later. It's got the false appearance of looking like every other normal tree in the grove, except it's just a little bit more fantastic. It has the spellcasting power of an Archdruid. So it's no joke. And it has layer actions, which it can do to animate or create plant or fungus creatures, like we talked about earlier. It also has the ability to animate trees as layer actions, and also has the ability to summon fey creatures as a layer action. So you are pretty much fighting a forest plus treants plus fungus vine zombie things if you mess with this critter. Plus it's got things like firestorm and stuff. So it's no joke. So we have some were creatures. We're talking about werebears and badgers and stuff, but we're also talking about werebunnies. And they're going to have a were form, humanoid form, and a bunny form. They're basically normal humans if they're not in their were form. We kind of just took werewolf and augmented it a bit. Oh wait, we took lion and augmented it a bit. So I'm going to have to do things like change its intelligence and stuff because
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So let's just make that a nice plain old, big old 0. And I changed the bunny form instead.
No.
Whoops. Failure on the wrap up. There we go. Nice 10.
You've got this. I believe in you.
All right, and I think they would be generally charismatic, but not necessarily good lookers in their were form. But they'd have a good personal presence, so I'm going to give them a little bit higher than average charisma.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think the human forms,
white coat,
they would pass as human, but they'd have a bit of peculiarity of it. It's kind of like, you can say, oh, this nose looks like you're from this part of the European continent, or this skin tone makes me think you're from this part of the world. Like that kind of stuff. Like they all have the kind of like a look to them, where it's like, you look like this guy I met over in XYZ town over here. And his whole family had this kind of like peculiarity about them. Maybe it's like a thin face with a particular nose. Maybe they tend to have a little bit oversized teeth.
Ears?
Maybe their ears are a little bit
touch
longer.
on the pointy side.
Yeah, looking towards half elf. They're like in between. They're like a quarter elf ear length, rather than the half elven look. So that kind of fluff stuff to it. They also have a bunny form, which they're just going to get murdered and eaten if they do that way. And the fluff is they can be damaged by, I said arrowroot, but no, actually it's called, I think it's arrowgrass. Arrowroot something else. Anyway, so basically make it into a paste, put it on your weapons or your arrows, and you can damage them just like normal. Their damage reduction is gone. Or if you have magic weapons, their damage immunity is gone. Or 24 karat gold. Kienata, what do you think?
I hate it, but you're not going to delete it. So moving on.
No, I'm not. It's only a couple backspaces, but I'm not doing it. The norm for births is twins, with rarely triplets, as triplets for them are as rare as twins for regular people. And every once in a while, there's a single birth, but that is assumed to be an accursed individual. And if you consume, the rabbit is also cursed. If you consume a wererabbit, you may contract the wererabbit. I just said weritis, but you know what I'm talking about. So
but
maybe
it's almost a good thing.
Yeah, but you're no longer truly a human at that point. You're some kind of creature that, I don't know, the silver flame guys might come and kill you for, just because you're different. And then we have the giant skunk, made of a large beast, kind of like the roving anteaters or other type of megafauna of a different age. And it's got, decent stats. It's not super ridiculous. Well, we're gonna take a few things out. There's like I'll have to adjust that, but that's editing for later.
Adjustable.
Yeah, it's got a bite. It's got some claws because it does have that kind of stuff. It's kind of like got sloth kind of ability to it, and it does have stench and stinging cloud effects. And then we talked about, let's see, where is it? We talked about my fungus spells, my plant spells for animated fungus and plants, very similar to Animate Dead, and my create fungal servants, which is very similar to create undead. And then we talk about those actual critters here with Vine Haunt, Fungal Shambler, Vines of Wrath, and Fungal Sovereigns, as well as Fungal Shambler the Devourer, which is kind of like the ghast version of this fungal plant creature. So overall, that was it for the Spirit Grove. There are tons more things in there, and Kitsune, but that's going to have to be as probably a big a section of an episode as if when we made the pod people and when we made the Scarum, which I still haven't decided on the names for those, but.
Real quick, Aaron Parks would like to know, does Nerdarchy have live chats every day? Almost.
Monday through Friday, we have a noon chat, which is not just open live chat. You can feel free to put question in front and then question your question. But it's normally interviewing somebody. Every once in a while, it's Dave, Ted, or I, or a combination of us talking with each other if we don't have another guest. But normally it's guests in the industry. And that's every Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday at noon. And Saturday, we have a 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live chat, which is just kind of like our weekly wrap-up, where we talk about any giveaways we're doing, what's coming up in Patreon, where we're going to be, like cons and things. That also happens then. And then Sunday, Thursday, and Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do either world building. Kienata and I do world building. We do, today we're doing Monster Mash, is what we normally do on a Thursday. And Friday, we just kind of do like a catch-all, whatever we feel like doing. We've done such subjects as, the science of magic, psionics, magic, and regulation, like from town, city, village, all the way up to empire, and different things like that. And I don't really know what we're doing tomorrow.
Nate evil? That could be a Friday.
good necromancy, or are you a good necromancer or a bad necromancer?
Exactly. We could discuss the moral quandaries of good and evil in necromancy if there is a good side.
Yeah, Dave will find out about it. He's like, I'm shutting this down.
Yeah, exactly. He'll just kill it midstream. Done.
Be like, we're gonna watch 2 hours of me and a sandwich instead of watching Nate talk about the being good necromancers. Yeah, so I don't think that's what's gonna happen tomorrow. We're gonna pick a subject. Actually, if you want to sound off right now what you would like tomorrow's discussion to be, I'll take it under advisement.
Absolutely.
So we'll be sure to capture them at the end. So even when we're off stream, you can still put in your suggestions.
Aaron Parks, thank you so much. This fills our D&D void too, although we tend to try and fill our day with as much D&D as possible. But yeah, this is awesome. I love doing this. I love hanging out and talking to chat. You guys are crazy. And Nate's cool too, so.
Yeah, and Cardboard Fortress, I would be interested in seeing the Mushroom Man race if you want to drop it somewhere sometime. If you're in Discord, maybe we can talk. Yes, Discord, we can talk about it.
Come hang out in Discord.
Of course you're in Discord. I remember. All right, so with that, if you want to check out more of our videos, feel free to go over to YouTube. There's also some saved on Twitch, but there's like over 2,500 over on YouTube, and we've got gameplays and all kinds of stuff there. And you can also basically find us anywhere where you can type in Nerdarchy on the internet and look up for all of our stuff. So let us know what you think in the comments below. While you're at, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.